crazy out here, y'all. Stay focused. Let's go, KD. Take a look around you, look to find your way, babe. Yeah, take a look around you, look to find your way, babe. Yeah, I talk is talk, and move is move. When I come in, bitch, I change the way. Got things to do, I done pay my dues. But where was you? Nigga, where was you? I said take a look around you, nigga, find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. I said take a look around you, nigga, find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. Hey, you the one that say that. You and me go way back. When this whole thing over, I'ma send my invoice payday. You don't wanna say that. You don't want this payback. I keep my composure. This my kingdom, nigga. Stay back. We had a couple of moments. You had a choice, nigga, on it. Your real colors, they showing. I'm real, nigga, I'm focused. When I come around, I'm fly with it. Stay moving, do buy with it. New sound, just vibe with it. Same truth and we die with it. I see it like it's an optical. I never sit on the fence. Nothing to me is impossible. Music of me to the end. Most of the shit is illogical. All the young niggas depend on what they pretend. Just think what you had. Stop looking at trends. You wearing your eyes like it's topical. Clearly now, the pain is gone. The fame is on. And they play my songs. Yeah, it's real. Yeah, it's real. Yeah, I ain't talk is talk, and move is move. When I come in, bitch, I change the way. Got things to do, I done pay my dues. But where was you? Nigga, where was you? I said take a look around you, nigga, find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. I said take a look around you, nigga, find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. New era, I got y'all. Real gang, we pop off, no knockoffs. Open eyes, we watch out. Mobilize, won't cop out. COVID-19 cops out, don't flop now. Open skies, we fly now. New agenda, they try now. Most y'all getting real scared of the headlines when you find out. End game getting real near. If you don't know, you behind now. Behind the times, government hide behind the lines. Most brands trying to monetize. All of us have to stay inside, don't socialize. Yeah, talk is talk, and move is move. When I come in, bitch, I change the way. Got things to do, I done pay my dues. But where was you? Nigga, where was you? I said take a look around you, nigga, find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. I said take a look around you, nigga, find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. This is that one song that you heard so many times, and every time you hear it, you're like, I'm not gonna bump to this song. But then you start catching a vibe. I'm sorry, not sorry. Yeah. East Coast with the gang gang, West Coast with the gang gang, Lower with the gang gang, you know we don't play gang. East Coast with the gang gang, West Coast with the gang gang, Lower with the gang gang, you know we don't play gang. East Coast with the gang gang, West Coast with the gang gang, Lower with the gang gang, you know we don't play gang. East Coast with the gang gang, West Coast with the gang gang, Lower with the gang gang, you know. Yeah, whoa, East Coast with that gang gang. You know we don't play games, whoa. Hop up on that wagon, oh please just get out the way. You know we stay stuntin', right up in your face. We sorry, not sorry, we just stuck up in our ways. West Coast, go ahead, stand up. Put that glass and hands up. Gang, we famed up. Got that change, we bagged up. True love, we stay manned up. Ahem like I'm wheezy, yeah. Rap game just too easy, drip so sick, I'm queasy, whoa. East Coast with the gang gang, West Coast with the gang gang, Lower with the gang gang, you know we don't play gang. East Coast with the gang gang, West Coast with the gang gang, Lower with the gang gang, you know we don't play gang. East Coast with the gang gang, West Coast with the gang gang, Lower with the gang gang, you know we don't play gang. East Coast with the gang gang, West Coast with the gang gang, Lower with the gang gang. Yeah. Watch me finesse.
walk to the line. Good versus evil, God in his prime. Always in prime, always on time. Hard time to shine, wifey is fine. I'm doing fine, glad that you asked. God fill me up, mud in my glass. God clean me up, all that I ask. Wherever you headed there fast. I am ahead, you are in last. Last time I checked, you were all gas. Gas in the whip, whip it up fast. Fast and all furious, I'm starting to spaz. Getting all curious, you put me on blast. Blasting that Darius, kids in the back. Back to the future is black. Black like T'Challa, Wakanda attack.
Boom shakalaka!
Mr. Strickland. Mr. Strickland. Mr. Strickland. Mr. Strickland.
So why don't you look like a tree and get out of here?
Mr. Strickland. Mr. Strickland. Mr. Strickland.
Swole Normuth.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing. Testicles. Welcome everyone to episode 3184 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular Swolecast, Beardcast, Broadcast, Gangcast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleazecast, and Slaycast in Zach Realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What's going on, Beaches, Booshes, Bustas, Hustles, and you hoes? It's your boy Papa Swolio back with another episode. In today's episode, the Beastcast is brought to you, is powered, is sponsored by Everest and K2, flexing on all you be.
It's the fucking Catalina wine mixer.
The fucking Catalina wine mixer.
All right, fam, welcome to the show. Hit the like button, subscribe, The Daily Swole on Rumble and YouTube, and of course, Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Thanks for being here. Happy Thursday, the January 23rd. And let's drop a hashtag winning in the comments down below, because right now the U.S. just can't stop winning. And I will tell you, I am not tired of it. I am not tired of the winning. The wins keep on coming, and it's looking to be a great rest of the day. We're going to see what happens, but America is back, baby. Drop it in the comments down below. Hashtag winning to win today's Swole card, to maybe win today's Swole card. We'll see. We'll see if the gods of gains will smile upon you. Hashtag winning in the comments down below. Thanks for being here. Let's get into today's episode. Shall we do it? It's time for that tip. Babe, just an inch. It's cold outside. All right, we're going to kick it off with some Swole fam action. So welcome everyone, come one, come all. Let's get into the first post. This one's from Rick.
What's in the box?
And this is on the discussion boards over at swolenormousx.com in the nutrition section. Pillar number 2. Rick says, trying to get my nutrition on track now that I've been back in the gym for a couple weeks. Started doing protein and creatine shakes in the morning. I find myself getting extremely hungry to where I get kind of shaky about an hour or so after. Today is day 4 of the protein shakes in the morning. Gonna try a small bowl of oatmeal and a piece of fruit. Any recommendations for a better meal after, or since I want to burn fat, should I wait until lunch and deal with the quote hunger? All right, well, that's kind of a question. Thank you for the post, Rick. You guys can drop your thoughts in the comments down below. Back in the gym for a couple of weeks, it could just be you're not eating enough food overall in the entire day. Now, I'm hungry earlier in the day, but I'm not to the point where I can't function. So a protein shake first thing, you might need something more substantial, and it could also mean that other meals throughout the rest of the day, your overall caloric intake or protein intake doesn't match your energy expenditure and doesn't match your needs. So we all want to burn fat. That's what you want to do. You want to build muscle and you want to lose fat over time. So focus on building muscle, and you can just ignore that last part, the want to burn fat part. That has nothing to do with what you're doing. So you might be getting a sugar crash. You might be having other sorts of withdrawal if you're not drinking coffee. I'm not sure what your other habits are. So that could be a factor also. In my opinion, an oatmeal and a piece of fruit isn't going to seal the deal. I detest oatmeal. I think it's a huge scam. However, what Loretta actually just said, I was going to lead into that electrolytes. A lot of times people think that they're hydrated, and low electrolytes is very common because if you're thirsty, remember, just check this out. If you're thirsty, that doesn't necessarily mean that you need more water. It could mean that you're low, and most likely will mean that you're low in electrolytes and magnesium and so on and so forth. And a lot of times, if you are thirsty and your body isn't getting enough hydration, not liquid, we're talking about overall hydration, electrolytes, you might get those hunger cravings. So my recommendation, based on what you're saying, first thing that I do when I wake up is I have water with electrolytes, some extra magnesium, about 500 additional milligrams, and I usually put my creatine or something in that, and I chug that. Sometimes I mix some whey protein in it. Sometimes I don't. So if we're eating, if Mama Swole is cooking some eggs and stuff, I might not have a protein shake right then because I'm about to eat, so I'll just have the water. So it really depends if I'm going to have a meal soon after. But electrolytes are the first thing that goes in my body. First thing. So make sure that you are actually hydrated because you might be having hunger when you're actually thirsty. And again, thirsty doesn't mean more water. It means more electrolytes. So just some thoughts there. And good for you for getting back in the gym and being consistent. Sean, on the discussion boards again, in the What's Up Beaches section, howdy y'all, new Beach from Arkansas here. Do we have any Arkansas fam in the house? Welcome, Sean. 58 years old, still trying to overcome bad decisions, bad diet, bad genetics, bad environment, bad relationship with food, and mostly all of that resulted in a bad mindset. I'm here to change all that and get strong for my next half of life. I'm here to overcome and be the best human I can be so that I don't become a burden to my family and so that I can enjoy this privilege granted to me by my ancestors. Why is that small? By my ancestors of just being here. In one of the intro videos, there was a quote that hit home to me, quote, "Your ability to move through space is a unique privilege. Do not take it for granted." Just saying. Based.
I give it a 10. A 10. A fucking 10.
Based, dude. I agree. I hear you. I hear you. Do not take it for granted. Look, if you're watching this, you have unique abilities to gather information. You have more technology than any sorcerer has had throughout history. So use it to your advantage. And unfortunately, we have so much access to information. What happens? We allow too much in our brains. We have human brains. We're supposed to be, how do I get food? I'm cold. How do I get warm? I'm hungry. Or I'm hungry. How do I get food? Or I'm thirsty. How do I get water? We're used to those kinds of low Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We're used to those we're programmed. We've evolved for those low level needs. So it's very easy for us to have too much information. The average human mind can't handle that kind of information. We don't need all that other stuff in our head in the past, and now we do. So it's very easy to get overloaded and then get locked up and then not know where to start. And this is why when it comes to the 7 pillars, it's kind of like the fitness and life hierarchy of needs, not so much necessarily water, food, shelter, community, that kind of stuff. But we do have community. We do have physical activity. We do have nutrition, recovery, sleep, shelter. So there's components to that. So when it comes to fitness, obviously the hierarchy of needs comes first, but then the 7 pillars is the foundation for your fitness. And this is why we call it the pillars, because it holds up everything else. And you need that foundation. So when you stray from the foundation, when you look for quick fixes, when you try to shortcut things and leave some of the pillars behind, it gets at you. You don't focus on mindfulness or recovery, you're going to get injured or you can get overstressed out. You have a shitty community, it's going to eat away and affect your nutrition habits. Because if they're drinking all the time or eating garbage and you're surrounding yourself with people that have no drive or no desire to improve themselves, it's going to affect your nutrition, right? Poor community is going to negatively affect your nutrition. It's going to negatively affect your training. It's going to negatively affect your sleep if you're going out late and partying and stuff like that. So understand that when you have, sometimes you can get away with it for a little bit. You might be slacking on 2 of your pillars, but you might still see massive improvements. But it doesn't mean that those improvements might not be subject to issues and roadblocks and plateaus. So in other words, they all matter, and some of them are going to eat away in different ways. So you might have your first 5. If you're not focusing on mindfulness, it can definitely negatively affect your consistency. It can negatively affect your nutrition or your community, your recovery, your sleep, your stress. So there's a lot of different aspects that these pillars can affect, and you want to make sure that you're hitting all of them. And always go back to the basics. So I always say, if you feel like you're hitting a roadblock and you feel like you can't find the answer up here, it's because the answer is not up there. The second layers, those in the third order, those are all your individual life and your preferences and things that you like. The foundation, we're all going to be very, very similar with. Your community needs to be locked in. Your nutrition needs to be locked in. Your training should be locked in. All those things should be locked in. Cool. We're going to be very similar down there. But then all your other layers of things you enjoy doing and your own personal aspirations, that's going to be those higher levels that are built on the 7 pillars. So we connect on the 7 pillars. Of course, there's going to be some variation there for each person. But then as you go those higher layers, you're going to have, there's your differences. There's your own life that you want to create. So that's going to be where things start separating in a good way. All right, get on the email list. If you're not on the email list, how dare you go to makeemailswoleagain.com and get on that email list. And of course, if you want to call into the show, we're going to get into some questions. Go to askpapaswolio.com and call into the show. We'll feature it in an upcoming episode. Sometimes we get calls and we filter, but if you're asking a good question, we will feature you in an upcoming show, and then you can listen and then get the answer to your question. So call in, you get to record up to a minute. askpapaswolio.com. I'm going to load up Instagram Live. We'll get into some questions. So if you do have a live question, drop that in the chat. We're live on Rumble and we're live on YouTube. Let's get into it. Paul Stupar. Let's see. Papa Swolio, what kind of electrolytes do you recommend? Sodium, potassium, magnesium. I like to use Redmond Hydration. You can use LMNT. There's a lot of different brands out there. You can mix your own, but it's important. Celtic sea salt is fantastic, but I personally like magnesium glycinate for additional electrolyte supplementation. So you could drop your own preferences in the comments. We'll read some of them. John says there was a time when expenses were paying for your basic needs. That's it. There was no treating yourself on other endless, empty, disposable plastic garbage like today. Indeed. So we have a more complicated life nowadays, but I think that's really all about how you live and how you have perspective. In other words, because there are so many more things today, you have to actively simplify. Whereas in the past, it was simple. There was nothing extra to add. Now there's so much extra stuff. If you bring yourself back to monitoring your needs, not lowering expectations, but lowering your living standards, not getting yourself into crazy debt, buying stuff you don't need, living beyond your means, simplifying how you obtain information, simplifying and quieting your life needs to be an active thing. You need to have more fine filters. Otherwise you're going to get inundated. So in the past, you didn't have to worry about it. You had more brain space or more, I want to say more peace, because those other basic survival needs were taking up the priority and the most of the real estate in your brain. Now you have to simplify so you don't get overcomplicated. We're live on Instagram. If you want to catch the full show, because we will only do the question portion here, make sure you come on over to the Daily Swole on Rumble and YouTube at the Daily Swole. So make sure you subscribe to the channels. When we shut down here, if you don't get your question answered, we have an extended show over there on the podcast platforms, and of course Spotify and Apple Podcast as well. Lavash, Papa Swolio, where do electrolytes even come from? Mainly supplement form. That's a good fucking question. I mean, they get salt. Where they get the salt from. Redmond Hydration, they get it from their salt mines. I believe it's in Utah. So you can make your own. You can add potassium and magnesium glycinate and then add Celtic sea salt. So you can make your own electrolyte mix. That's probably the best way to do it. But that's why I like Redmond Hydration, because they use their Redmond real salt. I like it. I like it. I think it tastes better. I could drink it more frequently. Element I didn't like the way it tasted. And I use unflavored. I'm not going to use any of the flavoring. So I like to taste what I'm consuming because I want the details. I want my tongue. YMA on Instagram, training rugby after a gym session, ? Papa Soyo, what do you think about it? Or would a better gym session in the morning and at night the rugby training? That's going to be up to you. Now, understand that any physical activity is going to affect more physical activity. So doing rugby and then doing a gym training session, you're going to be fatigued, and it's like doing cardio first. Training before a rugby session, maybe you have tightness, maybe you have weakness in the musculature that you just trained. You have to be very careful with the volume because you're going to be fatigued. Muscles and tendons and ligaments may be more compromised. You don't want to get hurt, but it depends on what your trade-off is. If you're a professional rugby player, you have off-season and on-season. It matters much more. If you're just doing it casually, it's really up to you and what you can handle. So my recommendation is what you said last. Would it be better a gym session in the morning and a night rugby training? That's my take on it. However, I'd be very mindful about what your training protocol is. If you're always doing it on the same day, you'd probably want to do a full body and not overdo it. Or because rugby is going to be a lot more legs than upper body. It's upper body too, but in terms of load, if you're only talking about those certain days, maybe on rugby days, you do upper body earlier in the day. That way you're not compromising your legs for later and you train legs on other days. You're going to have to figure out what works best for you. And if you're able to progressively overload, you're recovering enough and the stimulus is proper. If you're not able to regularly progressively overload, you're incurring too much fatigue. So you have to prioritize something. Again, you have to prioritize. So whatever you prioritize, that's going to get the best of you. Bumble Hunter says, I played rugby, lift in the morning, rugby training at night worked best for me. I'm a big dude, so fatigue the next day was no joke. I did upper lower splits. Thank you. So pretty much what I said there. And that's just logically thinking through it. I've played soccer, I played baseball, I played sports, so I understand the fatigue. Even baseball, you're you're wearing cleats and maybe you're wearing tight pants. And you have to be mentally engaged every play. And it's not necessarily as physical all the time as with other sports, but you have to understand mental focus. You have to pay attention. Even playing shortstop or second base, even the outfield, you just have to be mentally locked in for 2-3 hours. So it's exhausting lifting after that because you're sore and, you're sometimes even baseball can be really physical. If you're pitching or catching or squatting all the time, you're just locked in, and just the whole process of playing an actual official sport. It's not just the time that you're there. It's an hour and a half before, and then just baseball dirt, you're crusty. If you're in the sun, you're hot and you've just been standing in the sun for 3 hours, there's fatigue. That's not always just literally physical. It's physiological. So you have to understand all those activities because you might be doing something else and thinking, oh, it's not exhausting. This is why I talk about work. If you're staring at a screen or you have a stressful job, even though you might not be lifting heavy weights, it's just mentally exhausting. And guess what controls your muscles? Your brain, your central nervous system. If you're zonked, it's going to negatively potentially affect your training. That's why you want to do it first thing in the day. Get it done first. You can make phone calls and look at a computer all day. You got your training in first. Cool, you're resting. Your body likes that. After you did your work. Paul, thank you for the answer, Papa. You're welcome. Never had some. That's why I was asking to know where to start. You got it. I believe I have all that in my Amazon store too. If you download the Swolenormous app, or if you're a member already, on the left bar, you'll see Amazon store. I need to add more stuff there probably. I haven't looked at what I have in the Amazon shop, so I'm pretty sure I added all that stuff in the past. I need to keep it more current though. Annie says most pre-made electrolyte mixes are way too sweet anyway. That's why I get unflavored. Look, if you want some flavoring, squeeze a little fresh lemon in there. There you go. There's your flavoring. You don't need it to taste like a unicorn cum shot. Okay. Just remember, unicorn jizz it's just a load of horse cum. So, don't make it something that it's not. Okay, Mikey Muniz. Let's go.
What's in the box?
Here we go. All right, Mikey Muniz on Instagram. Papa Solio, what should I do when I can't feel anything after leg day? Probably need to go to the hospital because you're paralyzed. It's probably that. If you can't feel anything, you're probably paralyzed from the waist down. Cole from Lego Ninjago. Papa Solio, what age should people start going to the gym in your opinion? I'm going to say that depends on the individual. You can really start at any age. You can have a 5-year-old lifting 1 pound plates with mom or dad in the garage. They're not training to failure. They're not maxing out. So you can do physical activity, climbing ropes and lifting sandbags. As a young kid, you can be lifting things, obviously not super heavy, but you should be moving like a human being. And you could be doing a lot of the same movements that you see mom and dad do at home. So for example, but lifting like a focused strength training program, I would say it's never too early to learn proper form. You can use very light weights and PVC pipes when you're 9 or 10. Can't wait to start lifting heavier. Cool. You can learn how to do it properly. And I would say when you're a teenager, that's a good after puberty. That's probably a great time. A lot of energy, a lot of angst. Hormones are raging, right? It focuses a lot of attention. It's 12, 13. Like lifting in the gym. Sure, you just don't have to go to absolute failure, but you can train under supervision. You can learn how to do things properly. That's fantastic. 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade. That's when most kids really start playing sports and being more physical. There's nothing wrong. Now, when you talk about stunting growth, yeah, if you're doing like heavy powerlifting when you're 12 and you train to traumatic failure, you can damage growth plates, but that's rare. But you can start learning how to lift. Remember, when I say going to the gym, I'm not saying do 5 rep max. I'm not saying train to failure. What I'm saying is you can lift and do a pull down machine or pull ups. You could do chest press with 10-pound dumbbells, right? I mean, think about it. Is that the General Robert E. Lee? Dude, I was thinking about you the other day. That's fucking wild. I was thinking about you that day. That's so wild. Satyam and Shukla, Papa Solio, skinny guy here. Don't I know it? I am struggling with increasing my diet. I feel like I get full too soon, but I know it's not enough. Any suggestions? Focus on protein first and then fill in the gaps. I don't know what exactly you're eating, but remember, when you're eating around maintenance or a slight surplus, you're full. If you're eating nutrient-dense food, you're going to get full. This is why most people will split up their meals into smaller, more frequent meals. If you're eating garbage, it's very easy to eat 5,000 calories a day, full of seed oils and chronic inflammation and all that stuff. So if you're eating steak, let's say how many calories in a ribeye steak? 1,200? You might get 100 grams of protein per 1,200 calories maybe. I think I've looked this up before, but it depends on the ounces, whatever. So you want 3,000 calories a day. Let's say you're eating just ribeyes, which sweet, you're loaded. 3 fucking like 16-ounce, that's hard. I don't even do that. That's ridiculous. So nutrient-dense food that's high in protein and quality fats, you're going to get full, so you break it up more often. But objectively, you need to get in enough protein and calories, period. So you have to figure it out. We all get full. That's why if you're eating, again, think about it. Are you going to eat a ribeye steak plus some whatever X, Y, and Z, 1,500 calories in one meal? You're not going to be lifting weights or training hard anywhere around that. You're going to be really full. That's why you might break it up into 2 meals, because if you're eating 2 meals a day, sure, it's really the overall protein. You can eat 2 meals a day. It's really hard to get everything in 2 meals, but also the bigger the meal, the longer it takes to digest. And you're not going to eat such a huge meal and then want to train. So you got to be careful of when you do it. So smaller meals more frequently, you'll get in and out of your system more quickly. You're not going to be as bloated and disgustingly saturated, and then you're going to be able to train and function. All right, questions. Drop in the comments. Oh, that was nice. Good tone. Some depth, right? Amar, Papasolio, I need the perfect leg day for beginners without equipment. Well, that's an oxymoron. I'll tell you what, you're not going to have a perfect leg day for anyone without equipment. Bodyweight squats, lunges. There's no perfect leg day. Sissy squats. I want the best workout without working out. Dope. All right, Jerome on
What's in the box?
Instagram. No, Tyler says, why are you not at the gym? I just left your mom's house. I need to recover before I need some electrolytes. I can't work out right after I leave. Jerome, Papasolio, what muscles are worked when you swing those bats? Depends on how heavy you go. But grip strength, all your phalanges, hand, forearms, elbow, great elbow and shoulder decompression, traps, I guess, anything when you're swinging and moving your arm in rotational, but it's really great for the joints. It's great for mobility and joint integrity. I really like it to prevent tendonitis too. I think that goes under discussed. It doesn't get the extensors per se, but you get eccentric. You get some extensor work, but it's so great that it's circular. Inside, outside circles, you're really hitting everything evenly. Before upper body days, I'll do a dead hang, and then I'll do some club swinging, boom, and then I start my preparation sets for my working sets. That's literally what I do. And because I don't do a lot of volume, today I might be doing a full body workout. I'll be doing one set per body part. So I don't need to do crazy stretching for my quads and for my knees. I'll just do the warm-up sets and then hit it and then move on. But I could do things on other days too. San, let's see. Papasolio, I've been struggling to get weight. I'm only 62 kilograms, but I can't really go over than that. I've already tried different diets. You need to eat more steak and eggs and just eat more. You're trying to gain weight. You want to build muscle, but you're going to gain weight when you're building muscle. And people say, I can't gain weight. I get, eat more. Eat more. This is not a magician show. This is not David Blaine over here. Just fucking eat more, man. You also don't need a surplus to build muscle. You can be around maintenance. Remember, it's the progressive overload. You need enough protein, you need enough sleep, and then as you build more lean mass, then you inch up your calories. You can do it with minimizing body fat. I mean, I've gained body fat since I started doing my latest gaining. I was trying to put on muscle focus. I put on like 20 or 30 pounds gradually. Maybe it was 20 pounds. And I put on a little body fat too. So people in the videos are like, oh, Poppy, look, have you been bulking? It's like, yeah, I mean, I don't care about being 10% body fat, period. But when I'm trying to gain and I'm looking at my progressive overload, I'm fine right now with like a little bit extra body fat. I'm not trying to micromanage and stay as lean as possible so I can still see my abs all the time. It's like, it's fine. You can go through phases, but just understand that you don't have to. So I'm not doing a dirty bulk, but some people just get like fat. You're overdoing it. You don't need to. And you can stay very, very lean or at your current body fat composition. Is your weight going up? Are you progressively overloading? If you're not, it's your programming and your training. Hashtag winning for a chance to win today's Swole card. We're going to get into some of those current events because it's great. It's great to win again. 47 is fucking laying down the cock of America, swinging some big dong. It's great. I'm loving It's great to vote for something and see the results immediately. I think this is the first time ever when shit just literally got done in the government. I mean, this is the first time ever. I think what the general sentiment is that so much is happening, people's minds are blown, but they also can't believe it. I'm in that phase where it seems like it's too good to be true. This can't actually really be happening, but it is, and it's fucking glorious. It's fucking glorious. I know all of you feel the same thing. You're checking, like, is this really like immediately? That's what I'm talking about. It's awesome. It's awesome. All right. Cool. Ryan, Papa Swole, what is so bad about dirty bulking? All right, we just talked about that. Pee-wee knock. How old are you and how many years do you train? I've been training for about 25 years and I'm 41 years old. 41 years swole. How about that? 41 years swole. Gobilizzo. Papa Swolio. Can I have your babies? No. Okay. How many reps and sets are needed to build muscle? All right. Good question. Good question. Well, you can build muscle with anywhere between like 3 and 25 reps or so. The issue is training with proximity to failure, and it's easier to gauge. Another reason why I like to do lower reps, like 4 to 10 reps, is because it's easier to gauge proximity to failure. Think about it. If you're doing sets of 15 or 20, it's hard to know how many more you have left in the tank. It's hard to leave one more. So you need to go to pretty much failure because it's hard to gauge that proximity. If you're doing sets of 5, like when I do my 5th rep, it's like, oh, I know I'm not getting another one. Right? That's 0 RIR. I know if I complete this rep, there's no fucking way I'm getting another one. I could try it and go to failure and but it's just energy that's not worth it. So when you're doing 4 reps, 5 reps, 6 reps even, you know, okay, I could probably get one more. Like maybe I can do another one. Cool. That's 1 rep in the tank. You just know where your limit is. If I'm doing a set of 20, I might leave 4 in the tank. Because if someone has a gun to your head when you have like 15-pound dumbbells and I'm curling, it's like I could probably squeeze out, who knows, maybe 3 or 4 more. But it's just so much more fatigue and so much more exhaustion. And you have to, you're putting more out in terms of fatigue, in terms of the reps. You're doing 15 reps before you even get to the stimulation. And then you might be leaving 3 in the tank. So you're really not even getting stimulus. You're just getting a pump and it burns and you're tired, but then you wonder why you don't make progress. Natty Gets Fit on Instagram. Papa Swolio is the reason why I just paid $296 today for my bill to go back to the gym. Getting ready now. You say go to the gym. Will you help with the payment? LMAO JK. Well, I'll tell you, Natty, if you join Swolenormous X, you can get it for like less than $1 a day. So you overpaid. You could have just joined the Swole fam for a fraction of the cost. But hey, I'm not here to tell you what to do. No, I'm kidding. You should join the Swole fam too. That way you know what to do at the gym. So if you have your own stuff at home, cool. But you said you're going to the gym. Cool. Now join Swolenormous X and you'll know exactly what to do in the gym. And you won't be wasting you don't want to waste your $300. You don't want to waste your $300 gym membership. Make sure you're getting the most out of it. Check us out, swolenormousx.com. We'll see you over there. Shameless plug. But it's also true. So good for you. Good for you. I'll tell you what, I'll help by continuing to bang your eye holes and ear holes to get you to use your membership. Sending love from the Philippines. All right. Shout out. Who in the hell would pay $300? What would that be? $30 a month, right? Is $30 a month is my math right? $360 a year. So that's like $25 a month or whatever it is. That's a good deal. If you think about that, Dr. Delta, you're definitely not mathematician Delta. AA Ron. Extra fucking vowels, motherfucker. Lavash, I pay $200 a month. Okay. Lavash, bro, what? Yeah. What do you get for $200 a month? Let's drop that in the comments. What do you pay per month for a gym membership? Curious. What do you guys pay for a gym membership? All right. Big B, Papa looking toxically masculine as he should. Damn right. Stay swole, boss man. I'm hitting the gym already in your honor here in my deployed location in Iraq. Let's fucking go. We're renaming that too. Instead of the Middle East, I think we're going to change it to Middle America. We got to change New Mexico to New America. We got a couple New Americas. UK will now be known as New Pakistan. We're doing a lot of things. We're making a lot of headway. We're changing everything. Stop licking your dick, dude. Thank you. Jarella says $35 for one gym, $10 for the other one. Yes, I have two. Don't judge. Oh, I'm not judging. I used to have multiple because then I had three. I had three memberships for a while. I had an LA Fitness membership from like before. So it was like a low, cheap contract. And there's so many and I was traveling. So it was cool when I would get off a plane or I would do these teachings and master training. So what happened was sometimes I would do the course and do the seminar. And then my flight would be, maybe it would end at, sometimes the second day would end at like 3:00. Or 12 or noon. And then my flight would be at 8:00. So I would take a cab or an Uber to an LA Fitness and I would train there and then just shower. And then I would have a workout, shower, and then get on the flight and go home. So it was pretty awesome. Anyway, I had that. I had two local small gyms, depending on where I was. This is before. Yeah. That's what I would do. $25. Pandemonium free as long as I'm attending college based, and college gyms are usually really nice. In Romania, you pay $40 monthly. Interesting. Seems like about the same. There's a lot more independent, higher priced gyms with nice equipment stuff too. That's what I did too. Jarella says one is closed on federal holidays, the other isn't. One is closer to my work and one is closer to home. I have backup gyms. That's what I did. Before Mama Solia and I were living together, when I was at her place, I would go to the gym. I had a membership to a gym there. It was $21 a month. Old school equipment. Had the LA Fitness one. Had one by my house. That was a smaller gym. And sometimes smaller gyms are more expensive, but you pay for... It was small and it was always never really busy. It was great. Great. Especially if the gym has amenities, if it has a sauna or a steam room and it has cold plunge and this kind of stuff, you get a lot more for your membership. So there's options there. All right, last chance for questions. Drop in the comments down below. Hashtag Ask Papa Swolio. That's me. I'm your host of the Daily Swole. If you're watching on Instagram, click the links in my bio and go and check out the podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify live every day. Episode 3184 today, going on 9 years straight of the greatest man cast in the realm. You could also subscribe to the Daily Swole on Rumble and YouTube. And we did start another on Instagram. There's an account. It's called Daily Swole Podcast. So if you guys want to follow, you might remember, how many years ago? About maybe 4 years ago, we had the Daily Swole Instagram page. I've talked about it before, but a lot of people are listening that never listened or might have missed that episode. And that page got deleted. It literally just was deleted. One day the page was gone. Every post was gone. And it had like 20 or 30,000 followers on it. Just gone, deleted, never got an email, no explanation, just it was just ghosted. It just was deleted, gone, to the point where I forgot, because I have so many emails, you have so many accounts, and I forget which email I signed up with it for, but I never got a notification, no information. It was just gone and no recourse. It was just, page was deleted. So it's interesting because I'm streaming now just for the questions on the Real Papa Swolio account. And that's why we started that. So rather than take the L and just be like, oh man, they banned my account, started the Real Papa Swolio account. Now it has like 900 something thousand. So just keep on going. And then the Swolenormous page got taken down for a couple months. That was catastrophic. But I had TikTok and this other. So anyway, we just started another one. So if you haven't subscribed to it, I think we've only posted 1 or 2 videos, but it's Daily Swole Podcast on Instagram. So go support that. Keep on going. Last chance for questions. Let's see. Papa Swolio, what's your view on keto? I'm not a fan of keto long term, but short term, and that is a vague statement, but short term, it can be beneficial. It's also preference. I just didn't like keto because I was carnivore, and you kind of go into ketosis with that, but I didn't like it for heavy strength training long term. But I tried it. I just didn't like it. I was getting dizzy and lightheaded, like well into it. It wasn't ideal for me. Same thing with carnivore. It just wasn't something I could maintain. So I don't stress about what the diet's called, but I eat the foods that I've tested to see what was best for me. Question from Stories. Papa Swolio, can naps during the day compensate for 6 hours a night sleep? That's a good question. It might negatively affect your sleep. That's a good question. I don't have necessarily the correct answer for you. Compensate, I think it could be beneficial, because if you need more sleep, that's going to be beneficial, but it can also negatively affect your ability to fall asleep at night. So I would have to ask more questions. Why are you getting 6 hours a night? And what are some other habits that you can do to make sure those 6 hours a night are quality, and maybe that you can get 7 or 8 hours? A lot of times people don't need to get 6 hours. They just do because of bad habits. So just some initial thoughts. I can't go into details if I don't have them, but just some thoughts, because a lot of you might be in the same situation with your sleep. Dusk Slayer, what do you think the meaning of life is? Oof. I would say to find peace and purpose. Whether that's the meaning, that's a good goal. I don't really know what it means or that it matters, because it is what it is. Doesn't have to mean anything. Peace and purpose that's a good general focus. All right. Balls deep in news, balls deep in current events. All right. If you're watching on Instagram, make sure you head on over. Link is in the bio for Rumble and YouTube to catch the rest of the podcast. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe. Link is in my bio. So Real Papa Swolio, click the link and come on over to the podcast channels. All right. Maybe we'll get a couple more people coming over from there. Dope Magalope. Now let's get into some shit.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! That's deep.
All right. We've got a couple things. Let's pick a number 1, 2, or 3. And I saw this. Okay, because of course with the whole Elon Musk Nazi bullshit. Look at this picture. All right. So if you're just listening, we have an image showing kind of like a gradient of how to hold your hand. Now, of course, what's not listed in this picture is the wrist integrity. Wrist extension matters a lot. So if you're in the Nazi position and however you're in wrist extension, you are going to be saying goodbye. That's like a bye, you know, you have a little shake there. So the movement matters. If you're in the Nazi position and you have excessive flexion, you're gay as fuck. So the forearm muscles and the actual wrist position anatomically matters a lot for that Nazi position. So I just want to clarify that. Also, you have to understand, like, you know, waving like this with your hand or like that. So if you're back like this, you have the casual Sieg Heil. You got to be careful with that because this is, you know, when Hitler's like with his wrist back. So if you are tucked in, if your shoulder is adducted, right, and you have pretty excessive, I would say you're actually a little bit in shoulder flexion, right? So you'd be a little bit further forward. And then if the wrist is back like this, right? If you're in a parade or you're being paraded down, you're just staying like this. You know, that's also Nazi. That's, you know, that's the casual Sieg Heil. So wrist position matters and the angle. So you have to take that into account. Now, my concern, and I posted this in the quote tweet, I said, bro, who the fuck rests like that? Standing like that is more concerning than Nazi. So if you look at the rest position, yo, that's not even anatomical. That rest position, if you see someone standing straight with their hands down, palms backwards, that's not even anatomical. That is a creep. If you see someone standing like that with both hands just straight down, that's creepy. I'd rather have the full-blown Nazi than someone resting in this position. Unless you're an Olympic gymnast, that resting position is just not acceptable. So I'd be much more concerned about resting with your thumb towards the body, just like standing there. Like imagine, right? Imagine you're standing there, like you walk up and someone's just standing like this. I mean, are you sneaking down the hallway against the wall and you're 9 years old and you're trying to get a cookie from the kitchen or something? Like, you're up against a wall. So either you're sneaking around doing something that you shouldn't be doing. So I'm concerned, right? So either you're sneaking around doing something you shouldn't be doing, you're an Olympic gymnast, or you're just like, you know, I'm much more concerned with the rest position. If you're petting a dog like that, Rufus, I could pet like that. That's a weird way to pet a dog. That's a big dog too. So right around hip height, that's a big puppers. Children, kind of weird. Why would you pet children? Like this image there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions. This is also incorrect. So I'm going through this in depth, I know, but I think it's important to break it down. So petting children, probably shouldn't be doing too much of that. How about petting your own child? We have to be specific. You shouldn't pet children if they're not yours. You can pet your own child. So I'm concerned about the petting. Now, at least it doesn't say sniff children, because then you have a lot of spinal flexion. You have the old Biden snifferoo. So petting children, questionable. Petting your own child. I have to fix this image. I have to re-edit it. So don't pet children unless they're your own, right? We should put an asterisk there and below. A couple other things. Call taxi. I was born in New York City. I've hailed taxis. You don't call a taxi. Who the fuck? Who does this? You go to New York City, you don't see people like, taxi. You know, you go like, you whistle, you know, and you go like this. You flag. So it's actually more between call waiter and Nazi. No one calls a taxi straight out 90 degrees. I want to get a taxi. You see someone in New York City like this, they're probably on ketamine. You know, maybe in Philadelphia, you'll see people walking around like this. Zombie apocalypse down there. Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's correct, Nick. It would be more of like a Sieg Heil taxi. So that's too low. So you're actually looking to call so calling a taxi and being a Nazi is that's why you have to be like, you have to wait, you know, you have to shake the hand a little bit. You have to get some wrist flexion. Because if you're out here like this, right, there's Nazi and there's not a Nazi. And there's I like dick. So like, it's all here. It's all here. You just got to be careful. You need to get a protractor out, probably. And maybe this is where I'm thinking, just to land this plane, maybe that's where AI can come in. AI can take a picture, analyze, and be like, okay, what's the wrist angle? So it's just something to consider. Calling a waiter who just goes like this. Anyone? Who does this to call a waiter? Everyone knows that you have to like pretend. There's a process. If you want to call a waiter, you have to pretend like you're going to yawn and then, casually. You want to make it casual. You want to just make it really like you're not going full extension. You're just kind of going like, you're doing this. This is waiter. This is waiter. You're kind of you're in between of like a casual Heil and then it's in the fingers. Because you want to pretend like you're holding a pen, even though and this is where you're looking at a cultural shift, because I don't hold a pen like this. If I'm writing something, I don't do this. So it that harkens back to the quill tip, right? You're holding a feather, it's like the flare. So this image is all wrong. I just wanted to make sure if you guys see this around, just understand that there's other aspects to this. All right. Cool. Let's see what else we got here. So we have a lot of libtards that are absolutely meltdown epic cope on X. So this JoJo from Jers, this is literally like the Krasensteins. It's just, if you're on X, these fucktards. It's just awful. The shit that I'm seeing on my feed is literally bottom of the barrel retardation. So JoJo says, kind of funny that MAGA wants us to, quote, get over January 6th and, quote, look forward, not back, when they still haven't gotten over losing the civil fucking war. So she's not smart. She's not smart. Like, as if you need proof of that. These people are not intelligent. Okay, so Green Beret Naptime responded and said, LOL, what? Republicans won the Civil War. Are you a moron? Yes, she's a moron. Abraham Lincoln was a Republican. Yeah, the Democrats founded the KKK. The Democrats are, why do you think they're complaining about illegal immigrants getting deported? Because they're the ones, they're deporting my gardener. They're deporting my nanny. Yeah. Yup. That's the Democratic Party. It's been like that forever. Why do you think they're pointing the finger at the white supremacists and the racists and Trump's a racist? Trump's a not. He got rid of affirmative action. He got rid of DEI. Yeah, because it's racist. If you don't let someone get a job because of the color of their skin, that's racist. If you prioritize someone getting a job because of the color of their skin, that's racist too. Yeah. So having these things on the books that actually prioritize certain races, yeah, it's called racism. Okay. Republicans won the Civil War, by the way. So anyway, yeah, the South weren't the Republicans. Okay. Cool. Let's do a video. We'll come back to some other stuff. Did we pick one? For... Nick Papasoy, did you see AOC freak out when people provided pictures of every instance of her and other Dems doing the same thing Elon did? I did. I've seen those compilations. It's fucking awesome. I'm seeing people post pictures of Hitler drinking a glass of water, and they're showing, Elon Trump like drinking water, like there it is. Right? Hitler liked dogs too. All right, number 2, this is called hated being in a bigger body.
What's in the box?
The post says, I hated being in a bigger body. Good luck to you. Yeah, no shit.
Understand these kinds of fucking comments, like at all. I hated being in a bigger body. Good luck to you. Yeah, okay. So stop fucking projecting your own fucking insecurities onto someone who does not feel the same way.
Telling someone to stop projecting their insecurities while constantly projecting your insecurities is the hypocrisy of the left. That's all it is. I'll continue.
Just because you hated your body when you were fat doesn't mean that every single other fat person in the entire fucking fat world thinks the same way as you. I clearly do not hate my body. I clearly do not hate myself. So yes, thank you for the good luck, even though you don't mean it in a nice way. But like, I don't understand people who do this. Like, stop projecting your own shit. Just acknowledge that we have different opinions and then move the fuck on without commenting shit. How stupid are you?
I pose that same question. How stupid are you? The answer is supremely. Yes, I understand the frustration. I get negative comments on social media. Okay. You know how you solve that? Let me tell you. Let me ask you a question, people. How do you avoid negative comments on social media? Dun, 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 boom, boom. You don't fucking post. You don't fucking post.
Matt Damon.
You don't post. That's it.
Shut up, bitch!
If you put out stupid shit, the beauty of the internet is that it's going to call you out. I post stuff about Ozempic being dog shit. Guess what? I'm saying I have a fucking shirt. It's a bestseller, by the way. papasolio.com. Get yourself an Ozempic gym shirt. I get every comment, or not every comment, but a lot of comments are, well, so-and-so took this, they were pre-diabetic. Okay, you don't have to agree. And you're going to get a lot of people that don't agree that will leave comments. Totally fine. I understand what I'm doing. I know there are going to be people that disagree. That's okay. There's 7 billion people in the world. I don't expect everyone to agree with me. So, yeah, anyone here that's fat that wants to stay fat, you cannot tell me that if there was literally a genie in a bottle, you could snap your fingers and boom, you'll have exactly forever the body that you want. The person would, boom, give it to me, daddy. They're so full of shit. Candyman says, just got your GTTFG hat, shirt, and hoodie yesterday. Oh, yeah, buddy. Yeah. You're going to have so many friends. Sweet. All right. Yeesh. Oh, this twunt. Let's do one more video. Let's do this one. People are getting too healthy, and then we'll go back. I got some more stuff on X.
What's in the box?
Everybody and their mother and father needs to see this.
More than ever, there is a wellness culture right now, which is actually potentially making people even sicker.
Yeah.
You know, I think for a very long time, people have gotten more and more and more and more and more and more into, you know, exercise and eating well and dieting and macro and blah, 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 and, you know, you name it. I mean, it's everywhere. At every stage along the way, I have basically said, you know, fuck you. Don't tell me that I am not okay.
A world where we're told that certain fruits and vegetables are the dirty dozen, Bobby Flavor Flav, I'm looking at you, where oats are demonized and people are bitching out broccoli, Paul Saladino, I'm looking at you. Having somebody with a voice such as Gillian Anderson use their voice to give such a refreshing and relatable outlook on what is wellness culture, wellness industry, I'm fundamentally here for this.
Okay, if you want to eat fucking oats, you want to eat famine food, go for it. Go chew broccoli and let me know. Go eat some raw broccoli. Go eat some broccoli and tell me how good that tastes. Go cook some broccoli and tell me how good that tastes. If it doesn't have butter or cooked in tallow, or you put, but I love broccoli with cheese. Of course you do. You're putting some quality fats all over something that's crunchy. Anyway, eat what you want, but understand that in some of these other countries, they don't have the same shit quality that we have here. So anyway, cool story. More complaining. So let me show this poll. And I agree with Just Aline or Aline. Crazy is defined as doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different outcomes. So I posted this poll for a reason I'm going to explain. And it was yesterday. Got a few votes, but what I expected. I said, if you suffered a brutal defeat, would you do the same things? or would you change your actions? 94% said change my actions. I don't know who the fucking 6%. If you got absolutely shellacked, would you do the same thing or would you change your action? Well, if you got crushed in a competition, you got crushed in an election, like the Democratic establishment. My whole point of posting this was the Democratic establishment got absolutely fucking annihilated in the 2024 election. Annihilated. And one day in, they're right back to the Nazi, right back to the Trump. They have not changed a thing. Okay? They're going, you go deeper down that road, it's going to get worse, which is good for us, but it's just insane. So this is my point. If you got crushed, don't you think you should stop promoting, like literally just pushing the same fucking propaganda? Nope. The fucking same, boom, right back to it. So good. Maybe they'll never win an election again. They're trying really hard to never win an election again. All right. Saw this from the New York Times. From the New York Times, undocumented women ask, will my unborn child be a citizen? President Trump's executive order seeking to end birthright citizenship is already facing lawsuits, but that has been little comfort to women who expect to give birth after the order goes into effect. So tell me, New York Times, is it a child in the womb or is it not? I thought it was just a clump of cells. So is it a child now? What are we talking about here? And what's a woman, by the way? I'm confused. I don't understand what this is supposed to mean. So all of a sudden, Trump wins, and now a woman is an adult human female? Obviously. Undocumented women, aka illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants. If you're here legally working towards documentation, this is what these, like this rag, the New York Times, won't clarify. If you're here legally, you're not getting kicked out because you're coming through the legal process. Undocumented, which means you are here and you don't have documentation, which means you are illegal, which means you have to go. And this is not a cruel thing. You should not be here. You illegally entered a country. You broke into our fucking house. You broke into our house. And guess why you broke into our house? What's a reason why a pregnant woman would sneak into the country? So they can have a child and skirt the legal migration process. And the child is automatically an American citizen because they were just born on a pile of dirt. It's going to disincentivize illegal crossings in a big way. And it's good news. So the New York Times now knows what a woman is, and now all of a sudden they're pro-life. Who knew? Wow. New York Times.
Wow.
Coming full circle. And one more picture. We'll get into the last video. I thought this was funny. I can't even explain this image if you're just watching. It's the dog with like the extended neck, and there's someone on the ground covering their ears because they don't want to hear it, aka a Democrat. So it says, why do you keep calling Trump a Nazi? And then the next frame, the person on the ground is like, la 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 la, don't want to hear it. And the neck is like, why do you keep calling Trump a Nazi? He didn't support COVID camps. He didn't support forced vaccinations, vaccine passports, COVID lockdowns for the unvaccinated, freezing bank accounts for the unvaccinated, censorship of speech. You did. And don't let anyone forget this. The gaslighting is going to be legit. The cognitive dissonance, people around you that voted for this are going to pretend like it didn't exist. Like, oh, no, it wasn't that bad. Oh, no, they're full of shit. This is why it was called mass hypnosis. Because it's legit. It happened. And they were just so brainwashed because they're watching CNN and MSNBC and they don't hear all those things. Everyone else is crazy. You're right. They kept you in a bubble That's why it's a cult. You just believe and parrot what the TV tells you to parrot, Big Brother style. Oh, sorry, COVID. Should have gotten vaccinated. So anyway, there's that. All right, last one. Last one. This one's called Fat Fears.
What's in the box?
As someone who grew up in a fat body, I can tell you that my fat phobia runs deep.
The eyes, Chico. They never lie.
It's always, you can always tell the crazy ones by the eyes. We know it's some lunatic because it's in the folder already, so we're biased. But I mean, look at the eyes. If I showed you this picture, would you be like, sane or insane?
Not only did I grow up fat, but I also had a father that was morbidly obese most of my life. And I will tell you that I'm not scared of gaining 20 pounds because I'll have to buy new jeans, or maybe I develop a health condition, because honestly, we're all developing health conditions by what we put in and on our bodies.
You making the point? You making my point?
But my fear comes from how I know people will perceive me.
Sounds irrational. Oh, it's a woman. Got it. Okay. Got it. No, got it. Got it. I get it. I get it.
Are there any women here today?
All right. I was confused. No, that makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. That logic will take a backseat there.
How I know people will treat me.
Yeah. So we're looking at the feelings over facts. Okay. This tracks.
Because the world is cruel when you are large.
Not being able to fit into a car seat, like a not being able to use a seatbelt, and having to turn sideways walking through a door frame is not cruel.
If you've spent any period of time in a large body, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
How many of you have spent time in a large body? I repeat, how many of you have spent time in a large body? Did you ever rent one? Spend time? Any of you spending time in a large body right now? That language makes me want to punch myself in the dick. Like, just mash it. Just to feel something, because this is just makes me numb in my brain parts.
People dehumanize you. You're not seen as a coworker. You're not seen as a friend.
You hear that? If you're spending time in a larger body, you're not seen as a friend. You're not seen as a coworker. You're not human. I disagree. I just think you're extra human. You're no longer fat. You're extra human. I'm going to tweet that right now. I'm going to tweet that right now. That feels right. That feels like it's going to. Being fat from henceforth, I'm going to make a declaration. Henceforth will be known as extra human. Extra human. If you hear some drilling, we have some construction going on back. So apologies, but it is what it is. We're almost done. Okay, hear ye, hear ye. Being fat henceforth will be known as extra human. Nice. Okay, now I can continue.
A mother, a daughter, a father. People dehumanize you. You're not seen as a coworker. You're not seen as a friend, a mother, a daughter, a father. You are simply seen as fat. That's it. Not as a person. And honestly,
Yo. You're only seen as fat, not as a person. I've never seen a fat person been like, no, I see a person that's fat. I've never been like, what is that? What is that fat thing? I don't know what that is. Oh, it's a person? Whoa. Whoa. That's a person? You got to be kidding me. Really? I thought it was just fat. Come on, man.
It's the most fucked up thing when you've experienced it. But honestly, how could I not live in fear to be perceived that way?
I don't know. I don't know what it's like to be mentally insane and on SSRIs. You tell me. You tell me. Apparently that's a hell of a drug. I think I'm going to keep on eating steak and lifting weights and going to the fucking gym so I never have to worry about being an insane person.
Could I not live in fear of food after that?
Living in fear of food. What are you eating? Can you imagine opening up your fridge and like the steak is like trying to bite your hand? I'd be afraid of my food too. That's why I kill it first. Okay. Oh, that's it? Yeah.
Now, once you've had sex with the woman, she will naturally start to depend on you, okay? All women do this.
Damn. What a show. All right. This is going to be a great fucking year. It's going to be a great year. Let's do a throwback and then we will give away today's Swole card. Hashtag winning, by the way. Hashtag winning because we just can't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. Baby, get down. Baby, get down. Hashtag winning. Remember the Charlie Sheen? Remember he's like winning? He's like coked out. Yeah, winning. Do we do the throwback yet? I'm hitting it again if we did.
In the queer community, just like there are fat folks everywhere.
You're a fat bitch.
So let's talk about how weight discrimination disproportionately affects the LGBTQ.
Shut the fuck up.
Studies have found that transgender people experience significantly more weight discrimination than cis folks.
Great story. Tell it again.
So men that think they're women or women that think they're men face more weight discrimination? What are you talking about?
Trans women being at the highest risk for weight discrimination.
What are you talking about?
Notably, weight discrimination against trans folks is often intertwined with other forms of discrimination.
No shit. You know why it's intertwined? It's because you make it intertwined. It's called intersectionality. It's identity politics.
For example, one study found that trans women who were also sexual minorities reported higher levels.
What?
I am
the more you hate me, the more you will learn.
Oh, yes. Balls Deep edits, fam. We got 3 new Balls Deep edits tomorrow for overtime. And we'll probably have a new DWG. It's up in the air, but we're definitely going to have some good throwbacks at least. So it's going to be fun. Overtime goes live right after tomorrow's episode. Join the fam, SwoleNormousX.com. Join and download the Swolenormous app, all that good stuff. Excellent. Let's give away today's Swole card. It is winning. And guess what? You can win too. Just head on over to SwoleNormousX.com. Join the fam today. Jump on those Fuck Your Resolution specials. They're ending soon. Don't miss out on it. Join the fam and get access to all of our programs. Yoga studio, thousands of recipes, the amazing Swolenormous app, and so much more. Join, get started today. You know what you need to do. Get the tools to do it. Join the fam. Let's fucking go. Hashtag winning Falcon. Pick me a winner, Freddie. Thank you. Thank you. Might want to trim those talons. They're a little bit sharp. You heard? I know you don't like it, but you got to groom, man. You're going to feel good about yourself. You'll feel better about yourself. Oh, here we go. Say his name 3 fucking times. He's going to get you. It's the Candyman 156.
Congratulations!
Candyman. I'm just kidding. I don't want to die. Congratulations. Send us an email to support@swolenormous.com, SwoleCard 3184, your mailing address in the body of the email. Congratulations, Candyman 156. All right, fam, you know what to do. Head on over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, leave a 5-star review, share the show with your friends. Of course, you can subscribe to the podcast channels, The Daily Swole on Rumble and The Daily Swole on YouTube. Thanks for being here. We'll see you tomorrow for 3185 plus overtime. It's going to be great. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you then. Peace, McGee's, Deuce, Magoose, your boy, Papa Swolio. Out.
Crazy flow, need a straight jacket. Cash flow, I'm a bank addict. 6 subs, had the bass smacking. 808s, had the place clapping. 3 girls is enough for me, so I pull out like the stock's crashing. Like an IPO, trying to purchase me. This a private sector, so you can't have it. Faking all that boom bapping. Who you think you is, boy? 90s want they sound back, so I give rap all these fake rappers as I take matters in my own hands. I don't need rapping, I don't need Zans. I don't need help, I'm a grown man. Now they king left and they so mad, it's like...
Then yeah, I found that young king with my crown at 10 racks in the fanny pack, couple hundred in the Louis bag.
That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you laid. What kind of game is you playing? We go hard in the paint. We go hard in the paint. What the fuck is you saying? I only go where they pay. What kind of game is you playing? Ay, yeah, whoa, my shit is relevant. Our topic, my melanin is popping. I'm taking skeletons on closets and making new deposits. I'm in my element, no ollies, you children pop.